I've been staying at my family's cabin for the past few days. My siblings were up and we got in a lot of family time. And also while I'm here, I want to get some van projects done because I have a shop full of tools, but also because I've got reinforcements. I've got siblings around that can help me out if I get stuck on a project or need something really heavy lifted or I can't reach something. And so yeah, that's what I am about to tackle today. The big project I want to tackle is to replace my flooring. It's 4 years old and my wheelchair is pretty hard on it. I bring in a lot of dirt and even water, and you can see it's getting destroyed. The seams just started to kind of lift, and then that led to actually like chunks of the flooring just coming out, and then especially at the entrance. Floor is looking pretty bad after 4 years. Time to replace it. As well as I have this addition of flooring. It goes over my step, and that way I can still use the step if somebody needs it, and there's storage under here. But this hinge is getting all rusted from salt water by the ocean, so I'm gonna replace that. But yeah, time to do a little revamp on the floor. All right, first step, start ripping the flooring out. If you happen to see a video I did a few months ago, I talk about the risk that I have of pressure ulcers or pressure sores because I have a spinal cord injury. I am paralyzed from the chest down. I also don't have normal sensation below the chest down, and so that means if I'm out of my wheelchair and sitting on a hard surface, or even if my clothing is pinched, I would potentially get bruising, which could be quite serious in the long run. And so I have to sit on a cushion in my wheelchair that doesn't allow that to happen because I don't shift my weight like somebody would unconsciously do if they're not paralyzed. And so because I'm going to be in my van crawling around on the floor a lot, I'm not going to be sitting on a nice cushion or anything. So it's been great timing that I actually just got this Vic Air cushion in the mail. This is actually a wearable cushion that is made exactly for what I'm going to be doing. And it actually, I'll sit on it, and it's got straps that go around my waist and around my legs so that as I move around, it will come with me. So I'm really excited to try out this cushion. I know it's going to make my life a lot easier and just give me more peace of mind as I'm doing my van projects, that my skin will be looked after and that's not going to be an issue. Time to start crawling around on the floor of the van, so I'm going to get myself strapped into this cushion.
It's been a while since I felt this way. The night was long and the sky was gray, and I wondered if I would always feel lonely. The winter chill is nice at first, but after a while the cold just burns, and I'm ready for the sun to shine down on me. Oh, and now I feel the sun.
One thing that's making this job so much harder than it has to be is the fact that my flooring was actually laid down before any of my cabinetry. When I was building the van, I wanted to make sure I had a good idea of how much room I needed for my wheelchair and how high I could reach and all that. So I actually lived in the van for a few months with just a bed, like a water hookup at electrical and flooring, and no cabinetry. I just had temporary plastic drawers and stuff set up. And so that means that all the flooring is underneath these cabinets. So I have to break out my power tool, which needs some tightening, to be able to cut the flooring right where it butts up to the cabins, because I can't pull it out from under the cabinetry, but Good thing is, once I do it this time, if I ever have to change the flooring again, it's done. It should be a lot easier to do. Before I get going with the power tools, I'm going to talk a little bit about my last video, the bear encounter video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the corner up, one of these corners up here, and in the description. But basically, I woke up in the middle of the night to noises pounding on my van, and I thought it was people trying to break in, but as it turned out, it was actually a bear trying to get into my van. I was not in a remote area that would make me think at all that it was bear country. So I want to go into a little more depth about my decision making that night, because there's been a lot of traction with that video, a lot of new subscribers. Thanks if you are watching this video because of that one. And yeah, a lot of criticism on my thought process that night. And of course, I couldn't include all of the details in that video on why I did what I did, because the video would be really long and boring. So go watch the video if you haven't seen it. But basically, I woke up and eventually I figured out that it was a bear that had tried to get into my van, but I had scared it off just by, beeping my van, just the key fob, or starting it. I was pretty sure it was Garn because I could hear a dog barking in the far off distance, and that gave me comfort that the bear was not directly close to my van anymore. We only have black bears where I am, and so it was not a grizzly bear. I knew it was a black bear. The thing with bears is that their behavior tells you a lot about them, and not even as much as their type. And my thought process was that because the bear had been scared off just by starting my vehicle, it wasn't an aggressive bear, and it wasn't, really going to try to rip into my van and, as people are saying, can, smash my window and, really be aggressive getting into my van. It was scared off really easily. The other thing I, thought with that is that because there are acreages around, there's people that live in this area that I was at, and, it seemed like that bear might have been around. If it had really been an aggressive bear and a nuisance, it would no longer be in that area. So those things are what made me, feel safe staying in that location. I was prepared. I had my keys. I was ready to jump in the van. I was already running. I was ready to drive out of there. But when I thought about it, it was really late. I was really tired. The chances of hitting a deer or a moose or other wildlife while driving away in that situation were also very high. So I decided to just stick it out. Daylight was going to be a few more hours. I felt very confident in that decision. Another thing people were saying in the comments is, why didn't I beep my panic button on my key fob? I had my keys with me, obviously, and I did not do that because I was up on my bed and I was trying to get to the front to either drive out of there right away or at least see what was around the front of my vehicle. And I still wanted to be able to hear what was happening. I still wanted to hear if a vehicle was driving off. I still wanted to be able to hear if there were voices, because I was still thinking that there were people there while I was up on my bed. But I was fully prepared once I could, have a better view of my surroundings to be able to blare that and the panic button and scare off anybody that, anybody or wildlife that was still sticking around. And lastly, people are just saying that it's not safe to do van life. I shouldn't be camping in remote areas. And as I said in that video, everything we do in life has risks right now. It's a very scary world to live in, and I'm not going to sit at home and not do the things that I love because I'm afraid. I love being in the outdoors. I love solitude. I love peace and quiet. I love camping alone and not hearing generators and dogs, barking in the campsite next to me. There was just a major shooting at a church recently. So should people not go to church because something could happen there? That is my personal thoughts on my lifestyle. So my way to combat that fear is to be prepared, and that bear incident definitely made me think more about my preparation. And so I have taken more safety measures even since that happened. You saw in that video, I set up a security system with a camera. I have motion censored lights ordered, they're coming. So I'm taking steps so I can be even more prepared, so that I can be even more aware of my surroundings and feel safer. thank you to everybody that watched that video and stuck around and subscribed, because it seems to me that you support this lifestyle. You might understand why I'm doing this and maybe even want to do it yourself. So that's what this channel was all about in the beginning, was just to educate people on how I do this for myself and maybe inspire people to do it themselves, or, you know, try to find some of the ways around some of the barriers people might have in their own minds for doing it themselves. All right, now that that's talk is all out of the way, I'm gonna get my power tools going. I'm gonna start chopping up this flooring so I can get it all out of here. So dirty in here, but see? So this piece of flooring extends underneath this cabinet, which is actually my fridge cabinet. I don't want to have to lift all of this up, so I'm gonna have to just take a little trimmer and cut all of this out really nice and close to that cabinet, as close as I can get. Well, I'm still on the floor and this job has gotten just bigger and bigger and bigger. So in order to get the interlocking properly on the replacement, I actually had to remove this shelf. This thing usually goes there, and I had to move that to be able to get underneath it to make sure everything locks properly. So this is turning into a big job. Just like any van project, it's taking probably twice as long as I thought it would. But yeah, I know what I'm doing. I just gotta now put it all back together. It should go quickly from here on out.
Stand a little taller, I ain't worried about tomorrow. All these deadlines and dollars don't matter now. I see a little clearer, it's like I'm looking in a mirror. All these good things appear, look at what I found. 'Cause you showed up and turned it all around. We've got it so good, right down to the letter. The best feeling ever. And there's no doubt, we found it's so much better when we're together.
All right, I just have to put my last piece of flooring in here. Oh, and then put all the trim up, secure my fridge, put my big cabinet in, put my water heater in. So yeah, basically done. Not quite though, but yeah, at least I'm feeling like accomplished, and the flooring looks so good. Yes, progress. All right, flooring is all done. The van is put back together, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It took obviously way longer than I thought it would, but that is pretty much any van project I've ever worked on. So this time I made sure that the flooring is all one piece from here to the cabinets and the fridge. So yeah, these are all one piece, and they don't have any seams like here that would go that way, because it was like a seam here that started to pull up. And yeah, so hopefully that helps the flooring last longer this time. And then this hinge, I put a painted hinge, so hopefully it holds up a little bit better against salt water and corrosion. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped to have this all done. I can breathe easy now, getting a big project off my list. I just got back in my van. I was visiting a friend. We had a campfire and we're catching up. And I was about to go to bed, but I noticed kind of through the trees where I'm parked that the sky looked like it might be getting kind of bright. And I have been trying to see the northern lights all summer long, and they've had good forecast. Like, you can predict when the northern lights are going to be strong. And there's been, you know, many days where it's been strong, but on those days it's always been cloudy or smoky from the wildfires here in Saskatchewan. And so it looked clear tonight as I was watching the sky, sitting around the campfire, and I knew there was a good forecast. And so it looks like it might be starting here pretty soon. So I'm going to go get a look just at the local beach here and see if I can catch some northern lights. Finally, it's been how many years? Like, it's been at least 4 years since I've seen the northern lights. So I'm really hoping that they put on a good show tonight. Okay, just got to get on my wheelchair lift. I think tonight is the night. I hope tonight is the night. Just gotta get over this gravel. Oh, I hate gravel. Oh dear. Thick gravel. I'm gonna try and get to a darker spot with a clear view of the sky. Just gotta get there fast. Yep, they're out, you guys. Let me turn this camera around so you can see it. Northern lights are out. Starting to dance a little bit too. Finally, I've waited all summer. Finally, it all came together tonight. New flooring, clear skies, and northern lights. I'd call this a perfectly rewarding day. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you want to see more van projects and outdoor adventures, make sure to subscribe and check out some of my older videos. Keep it wheel, everyone.